Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that whatever you've been up to today, whatever, I haven't eaten, you've been up to today is actually having a nice and pleasant one. Quickly on camera, I want to look at how we inflect or change or modify the verb to be as an auxiliary or helping verb. We know how to use the verb to be, but when we're doing other things, we forget, don't we? And often we make mistakes. This is a reminder, isn't it? So I'm going to start with present continuous tenses. Jennifer is sitting behind Isota in class. Is sitting. Is comes from the verb to be. If it was in the plural form, what would I have said? Jennifer and Tamba are sitting behind Isota in class. To recap, is and are come from the verb to be, and we use them in present continuous tenses. What about past continuous tenses? What might I say if I want to indicate that the action occurred in the past and it was going on for a while? I'm going to borrow another auxiliary from the auxiliary bank, and it's still the verb to be. Jennifer was sitting behind Mildred instead yesterday. Was sitting. Plural form would be Jennifer and Tamba were sitting behind Mildred in class yesterday. To recap, I've looked at continuous tenses with the verb to be as a helping verb or an auxiliary. Singular is, are, plural was, were. How about if we move up to the future tense? I'm going to still stick with the verb to be. The future of the verb to be is will, W-I-L-L, as if you were getting married. That's right. Jennifer will sit behind Joseph in class tomorrow. Jennifer will sit behind Joseph in class tomorrow. Will. In continuous tenses, we'll bring in another word. Future continuous tenses. We use two words from the verb to be. Will, the future, plus a new word, be. Jennifer will be cooking cassava leaves on Saturday. Jennifer will be cooking cassava leaves on Saturday. Will plus be plus ing. Will and be do not show singular or plural indication. Will and be do not change to show whether the nouns or the pronouns or whatever subject you have are singular or plural. Example. Jennifer and Isota will be going to the cinema on Saturday. They will plus be plus ing. In the future tenses, we do not indicate whether the subject is singular or plural. How else might we use the verb to be? How about when we are using the passive voice? First of all, here's my example. The chauffeur was driving President Bio. The chauffeur was driving. President Bio was driving. In the past continuous, I'm going to use the passive voice. So passive means I flip my sentence and my object is now in my subject position. President Bill was being driven by his chauffeur. President Bill was being driven by a chauffeur. Sounds better, doesn't it? So, was being, a passive voice, B-E-I-N-G. To recap, I have shown you how the verb to be is inflected or conjugated, changed or modified to work as an auxiliary. Hello. So let's continue our look at auxiliaries by examining the verb to have. I took a break, didn't I? I walked to the newsagent down the road. I went to get my child some snacks. He does eat proper food, by the way. It's Friday today, and he's going to come home and want some snacks, isn't it? The verb to have. So, if you're paying attention to the boring things I do on this page, you'd have noticed that in an auxiliary bank, we have two verbs. By the way, I'm going to be adding another verb to our auxiliary bank, which you can use, isn't it? So, for now, we have the verb to have and the verb to be. The verb to have. Let me think of when I need to use perfect tenses. Here's my example. Jennifer has eaten all the cassava leaves. Naughty Jennifer. Jennifer has plus eaten plus object phrase. Jennifer has eaten all the cassava leaves. Has is the auxiliary, plus eaten is the past participle. That was in the present perfect tense, wasn't it? How about the past perfect tense? Jennifer had eaten all the cassava leaves before I arrived. She's well and truly naughty, isn't she, Jennifer? She knew I was coming, didn't she? Jennifer had eaten all the cassava leaves before I arrived. Had eaten. Do you see how we inflected the verb to have? The present form in the perfect tense is have. The past auxiliary, past form of the auxiliary of the verb to have is had. I need to go and have my dinner, my lunch, innit? So, Jennifer has eaten. Jennifer had eaten. How about in continuous tenses? Staying with the lovely Jennifer. Jennifer will have been studying French for 5 years this December. Jennifer will have been studying French for 5 years this December. Will is a word from the verb to be. I have called it an auxiliary, haven't I? Plus have another auxiliary. Plus BEEN is also now working as an auxiliary. It's the past participle of the verb to be. Plus main verb. What does the rule look like? The rule is auxiliary plus auxiliary plus past participle plus main verb in ing. Is it what you know as the perfect continuous tense? Jennifer will have been studying French for 5 years this December. Oh, while we're here, a lot of people seem to get the past form of the verb to have mixed up and don't know how to use it when it's in the past perfect form. What do I mean by that? I had plus had. I had the flu jab before my GP sent me a reminder. I had the flu jab before my GP sent me a reminder. Had plus had, past, perfect. How about in the present perfect form? I've seen different inflections of it on the internet, and I think, what on earth is going on? I have had this page for 19 months. I have had this page for 19 months. Have plus had. Have is the auxiliary. Had is the verb in its past participle form. To recap, I said, in the past perfect, we use the verb to have twice, don't we? I had had the flu jab plus an object phrase before my GP sent me a reminder. These are meant to be bite-sized videos. I'm looking at the time. You're going to start worrying about your data, aren't you? So, what about if I'm going to use it now in the passive voice? Our friend Lemo has eaten her Nisima. Lemo has eaten the Nisima. Sounds better, doesn't it? Lemo has eaten the Nisima. Lemo is the subject. Has eaten is in the present perfect tense. And our object is a nominal phrase, the Nisima. Lemo has eaten the Nisima is in the active voice. So the subject is in the initial position, followed by the verb, followed by the object. It's generally how we speak. What about if we were to flip the sentence? I'm now a reporter. I'm giving you the news on Radio Malawi. So I'm going to be polite and I'm going to flip my sentence. I am going to say, the Nisima has been eaten. I might say by Lemo if I wished. The Nisima has been eaten by Lemo if I wish. I think of a better example in a minute, but let me break this one down. The Nisima has plus been plus eaten. Has is the auxiliary, and it's teamed up with the past participle, B-E-E-N, plus another participle. Let's look at this once more. My first sentence was, Lemo has eaten the Nisima. And then I said, I'm going to give you the passive voices. You might hear it in formal English or when you report in something on the news. The Nisima has been eaten. I might say by Lemo, or I might not. I'm going to have to go. I've got workmen coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you stay with us for the rest of the workshop. It's going to carry on till December. Have a nice day.